look at the age of the universe. I mean, we have nothing to offer them.
Are we going to get answers in our lifetime about this?
Well, next we're going to focus our radio telescope to see whether we can eavesdrop on their I Love Lucy. Maybe they too have, Leave It to Beaver and TV shows like that. So we're going to focus our radio efforts now on this star to see whether there's any regular radio emissions from that planet.
Oh, it's so exciting. Mitchio, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The big question of, do you think there's intelligent life elsewhere out there? Do you think there is? And if there is, do you think it's visited us before?
Well, the big question is there intelligent life on the Earth? And I think not, by looking at the presidential debates. However, we have to look at the fact that just this week, NASA released the fact that 1,200 planets were discovered by the Kepler satellite just this past week.
We always learned in school that there were 9 planets if you wanted to include Pluto.
Yes, if you did or if you didn't want to. But with all the newfangled telescopes out there and in space, the discoveries seem to keep coming. So Linda Schmidt tells us about NASA's biggest haul yet.
NASA's Kepler Space Telescope has made a groundbreaking discovery: 1,284 new planets. This NASA animation shows that it is the single largest collection of planets that have ever been found.
I think it's really exciting to find that when you look up in the star, at the stars at night, many of those stars have planets just like our solar system. And now we know that for sure.
And so we now know that perhaps there are 1 billion Earth-like planets in our backyard, the Milky Way galaxy. Go out tonight and have an existential shock, looking at the night sky, realizing that there are probably 1 billion planets that are Earth-like.
I think I only had to memorize 8 of them in school. I think I got off easy.
Right. And to think that we're the only game in town, I think, is kind of presumptuous.
That question, though, the idea that there is intelligent life and it's been here, do you think we've been visited by extraterrestrial intelligent life?
First of all, I think they're out there, okay?
To kind of catapult the propaganda.
Whenever a mainstream scientist says anything about anything, there are millions upon millions of people willing to form their belief system around the statements of that scientist. So here we are in 2016, and when you look at any online poll as to whether aliens exist or not, the belief in aliens always wins by more than half. So we have passed the tipping point for critical mass, which perfectly sets the stage for a Project Bluebeam fake alien invasion. Even though what we call outer space is not what we think it is, and we have never been to the moon or past low Earth orbit for that matter, NASA admits this on numerous occasions while you're not even paying attention.
NASA's next spacecraft, already being built and tested across America, will do those things and more.
This is the spacecraft that's going to take humans to explore the solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
So this leads me to flat Earth, and why, if we knew the Earth is flat and enclosed by an impenetrable barrier, Project Bluebeam would not work. If we all understood the truth about where we live, most likely the belief in aliens would be very rare. But since they lie to us and would have us believe that there are billions of galaxies and billions of other planets, the belief in intelligent extraterrestrial life becomes the norm. Not only that though, Outer space and alien programming have been underway for quite some time. From a trip to the moon in 1901 to 10 Cloverfield Lane in 2016. The Tavistock Institute and Hollywood have been hard at work trying to introduce the masses to new ideas and manufacture our opinions. They've done a great job. We went from knowing that aliens don't exist to believing in aliens 100% without a shred of evidence. UFOs, on the other hand, are very real, unidentified flying objects. But all it is suppressed top-secret government and military technology. They will utilize these top-secret crafts to trick us into believing in an alien threat. They will also use holographic projections and something like the silent subliminal presentation system that can beam voices into our heads, which has already been patented for years now. Look it up. While you're at it, look at hologram technology that's already been used to show Michael Jackson on stage and even Tupac performing as well. One last note, pay attention to the timing of alien programming. For instance, Hillary talking about aliens on talk shows and promising to disclose classified information about extraterrestrials when in office, and the release of Independence Day 2. The timing of these things says a lot in itself. This has been ODD TV. Thanks for watching.
The alarm's going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elites.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is ODD, Friday, May 27th. Hey, ODD, do you always wear a hat? Do you sleep with your hat on? The answer to that is no. I just keep my hair really short and I buzz it every other day, and I shave my face with my clippers with no guard, just my head too. Get it all taken care of. I don't like to maintain hair or haircuts. In fact, my friends probably wouldn't even recognize me without a hat. So anyway, I left you guys hanging last week. I took a break. Last week I just played video games, watched movies, went fishing with the kids, played board games. I like to just step out of the matrix, go into blue pill mode, forget about conspiracies for at least a few days, you know? That's how I balance myself out. In fact, I'm not much of a gamer, but when I play games, I like to play this genre of games called Metroidvania games. And basically what they are is if you're an old school gamer like me, like you like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all that, well, they make modern games to look kind of old-fashioned, but the graphics are still, I mean, it looks amazing. The music is awesome. The handling on the controller is much better. So I like to play games like Super Meat Boy. Fez, F-E-Z. They Bleed Pixels. A game I found over the past week was called Slain, S-L-A-I-N. It had like a Castlevania kind of feel to it. and it was kind of dark and gothic, and I like stuff like that, man. I can't lie. So anyway, if I'm not playing the 2D platform games, I like to get down on Resident Evil and Silent Hill, but they don't release those often enough, man. I just kind of wait between. As soon as they come out with the new Resident Evil, I'll play it for a day, beat it, and then I won't even revisit it or nothing. It's over. That one's done, you know. So that's how I do it when I play games. And then when I when I do finally sit around and watch a few movies, you know, with the new set of flat earth eyes, you start to see things that you never saw before in most movies and media that you watch. So, you know, I end up with stuff to talk about, which I'll talk about a couple of movies later that I watched. I want to start this off by pretty much talking about mainstream media and how their plants, their alternative news gatekeeper plants that pose as alternative news, alternative media, they are mainstream, and all of them aren't allowed to go against the fixed paradigm. You know, they can't go against the globe. You can't go against, you can't say there's chemtrails. You can't say the moon landing was a hoax. If you're in with these guys, with the mainstream, you're not gonna ever go against any, you know, you're not gonna go against what the
yes. Because I see all those commercials that they do. We're live? Right now we're live? We're on the air? Misha Tate, we're on the air.
What's that?
I just had to let Misha Tate know the world was flat. She didn't know that the man has been holding us down and fucking with us and giving us bad information. That satellites are bullshit and that the Earth doesn't rely on gravity, but it uses electromagnetism to make sure things get stuck.
Where is this coming from?
The world.
The world.
There's a lot of people out there in the world that are waking up. Do you know what being woke is? Are you aware of being woke?
No.
You don't know about being woke? Jamie's woke.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke.
So people think that the Earth is flat?
Yes. You can also use wokeness as,
oh my God.
You could use it as like, you could say like, I have wokeness. You know what I'm saying? Like just because the UFC bantamweight champion does not equal your wokeness.
So what is wokeness? What is it?
You're woke.
You're woke. You're just
of all
aware.
The bullshit that the man has been.
Like the Earth being round.
The Earth ain't round. The Earth's flat as fuck. The Earth is flat, and chemtrails are the government spraying the skies, and there's no gravity. Here's square and stationary Earth. Oh, is this a new one?
That's one of the parts of the theory.
You think chemtrails are real? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I kind of wonder what they are.
Yeah,
like, what are they?
That's a good question.
I wonder.
The problem is when people take that and then they go right to conspiracy questions.
Yeah, right. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I have questions. Like, I want to know what they are.
When
what are
a jet engine flies through the sky and the jet engine encounters condensation in the atmosphere, it creates an artificial cloud. It's not an artificial cloud. It's an actual cloud. And the cloud is a direct reaction to the jet engine changing the temperature of the air in the atmosphere.
Contrail versus chemtrail. Clearly you can see the plane moving with the contrail, which is disappearing pretty much right behind it. Thing right next to it in the sky is a chemtrail. That will stay in the sky for hours as it falls to the earth and spreads out. Clear difference between a contrail and a chemtrail.
And Eric Dubay made a video last year about how Joe Rogan denies the flat earth immediately, and how he went from being a moon landing hoax warrior trying to spread the truth about the moon landing hoax to being a moon landing hoax denier, saying that there's no way that they could have faked the moon landing. It's hilarious. I'll play a little clip.
Dude, people waste so much time. Some fucking dude was tweeting me yesterday about the flat earth.
I looked up that video.
Oh my God, this guy, I don't normally do this, but I couldn't help it. In this guy tweets me, I was wary at first, but Eric Dubé has some compelling arguments supporting flat Earth that can't be explained. So I tweet back in all caps, no, he doesn't. And then he tweets me, have you extensively looked into his research? First of all, if you're a fucking guy that's making YouTube videos about the Earth being flat, that shit isn't research. It's just not.
There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way. There's no way people went on the moon. There's no way.
No, I'm a retard. Listen, if anybody has any real sense, they would look at it and say, there's no way that was a hoax. There's no way. There's no way that was a hoax. There's no way.
See? Honestly, moon landing shit, was it real? Was it not? It was not in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it wasn't in mine either, but I forgot that Russell's a moon guy. Look, I've argued with people, and I absolutely don't know. I don't know. I don't believe.
Joe, you were totally down for, you were the moon hoax crusader. Something.
No.
Listen, Joe, you were totally down for, you were the moon hoax crusader. Something.
No. Listen, man. Here's my issue. My issue is, how can I even argue it?
So yeah, we got Joe Rogan. Okay, he's a mainstreamer, that's for sure. He's definitely an alternative news plant, posing as alternative news when in fact he's a mainstreamer. He gets the go-ahead on what to say, and he what he can't say. He's told what he can't say. Same with Alex Jones. So Alex Jones, a while back, somebody had called into the show and was like, you're amazing, you're accurate, your truth is dead on. And it's amazing now that we're waking up to the flat earth, something like that. I'm going to play a clip. Check it out.
I get crazed because I am crazed. It's normal to be crazed about this, and the show's successful because it wasn't calculated, but people needed to have the primitive rabble-rousing with the intellectual facts that we back up. That's how people used to get folks. Gene and others. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Welcome.
Calling from Communist California here, and I'm a first-time caller. I just wanted to say how much I love your products.
Well, thank you, brother.
Hey, I'm on DNA4 Super Male Vitality, Deep Cleanse, Survival Shield, a Pro Pure filter for over the past year. And I'm just so amazed by the accuracy of the information that you put out. I've been listening for like a year and a half now, and like everything that you've said has just come to fruition. Like the surveillance blimps?
Well, sir, that was always partially declassified. They would just say it didn't exist nationally and say they were flying saucers. But they got blimps all over the country, and yeah, it's amazing they admit it's a secret blimp with the Army watching us.
Yeah, and now that we have a U.S. Navy missile instructor and many other experts confirming that the Earth is a flat and motionless plane...
you're being sarcastic. That's a prank call. That's an ad hominem thing where people, there's seminar calls on that where you call in and then you say, oh, you're so accurate, and then they add something like the Earth's flat.
To now.
I don't believe the Earth is flat, but if the mainstream media started saying it was round, I might question them. I mean, that's how deceptive these people are, that you really can't believe anything they say. They taint, they twist, they spin.
So yeah, what's up with Alex Jones considering the flat Earth? Is he getting the go-ahead? It's weird that this stuff is shifting. Is this a gaslit movement? Are we being gaslit? Is the flat Earth true, but they're trying to slowly shift it over to the flat Earth? Maybe. I'm still passionate about it, man. This is one of the most craziest finds in one's lifetime. I was going my whole life like, they show me the spinning ball and I'm like, didn't even think about it, really. Just looked at it, soaked it in, it soaked into my subconscious. I never thought, hey, we're on a spinning ball and everybody's upside down. I didn't think about this. I didn't even go in to start, worrying about it. So is the flat Earth being pushed out with the Alex Jones stuff? And are we gonna see Joe Rogan maybe start to consider the flat Earth soon? Maybe, but he still denies chemtrails. Something's up with Joe. So yeah, the mainstream's not allowed to go against the official narrative of a story. There can't be a conspiracy. Conspiracies don't exist. Conspiracy theories are stupid. But the theory of evolution is awesome, and the theory of Big Bang is awesome. The theories coming from the science department are amazing, but if it's a conspiracy theory, no bueno, not possible, conspiracies can't exist. So, Mythbusters, for instance, super mainstream, right? You would think that they would have came up with something that went against the official story, but no. Everything they tested in their moon landing hoax video, they found was in support of how the moon landing went down. They're like, oh, we're testing it. This is the same conditions that were on the moon, and we're going to test this. And oh, yep, it's the exact same as it would be if they actually went to the moon. So they did go to the moon. Here's a clip from the Mythbusters being interviewed about the moon landing hoax in some form or fashion.
Great to have you with us. You spent no small amount of time trying to debunk all of the myths out there that man didn't go to the moon. Where did you start?
We started by replicating everything that was replicating all the circumstances that were held up as evidence that that we never actually went there and that these things were faked. And once we were able to recreate these scenarios, then we started putting the elements in place, like shadows, like we replicate a moon gravity situation, and you know, got in a spacesuit and went through it, and all these kinds of things. Once we had that set up, then we could clearly go about showing you know, whether say a shadow was proof that something was faked or not, and we were very surprisingly easily able to go through and show that these were all natural environments that could occur, and there was absolutely no tooth to any of these statements.
Adam, you have the flag flapping in the breeze, but there's no breeze on the moon.
Yeah, and that was one of the most common claims by moon landing deniers, or nutbags, as I like to call them. And Cary Grant and Tory.
Hang the drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
All right, and then somebody also, one of you guys out there recently sent me a clip to Dr. David Agus. He was on a news station roundtable talking about the Zika virus and how since the Earth is flat. He kept saying the Earth is flat. I think he was slipping it in there like he's an undercover flat earther trying to kind of get the word out.
Why are you so sure they're coming here?
Well, because mosquitoes, these kind of mosquitoes are here in the United States. And we now know that these mosquitoes can get Zika virus very easily from biting somebody. And the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened, and then all of a sudden, people from Brazil went all over the world and transmitted Zika.
So if in fact somebody comes here and has the Zika virus and a mosquito bites them, then that mosquito can spread it anywhere.
Exactly. One can lead to thousands.
What about the Summer Games, the Olympic Games, and the possibility there you have people from all around the world going to a place where they could contact Zika and then returning, spreading back out around the world with Zika contamination?
It's a public health nightmare. And so I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat.
Yeah, so isn't that weird? The dude's trying to slip in flat Earth on a daily little news segment thing where they're talking. I thought I was like, whoa, he keeps saying the Earth is flat. And then the woman newscaster even tried to go and say, oh, around the world, and she made like a globe with her hands. Watch.
You have people from all around the world.
You have people from all around the world.
Let's talk about Bill Nye. Bill Nye recently released a video where you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll play a little bit of it. The guy asked a question saying, some of my friends on Facebook believe that the Earth is flat. Can you prove without a doubt that the Earth is not flat, that it's a ball? And then Bill Nye just rambles and says the stupidest stuff. We're going to go over it in order. All right, I'm going to show you the beginning of the video.
Hey Bill, can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Earth is a sphere and not flat? Because I have a lot of Facebook friends who say that it's flat, and I just can't convince them. Thank you.
Is the Earth flat or round? It's round. Okay, now let's see. How do we go about proving that?
All right, now there's a part where he says the reason why the Earth isn't flat, why can't you see Spain from anywhere on the East Coast, right? The East Coast of America.
Go to the seashore. Go to a seashore and figure out why you can't, if you live on the East Coast, figure out why you can't see Spain from the East Coast of North America.
And Spain is, it's more than 3,000 miles away from anywhere on the East Coast. Spain is more than 3,000 miles away. How the hell would you be able to see 3,000 miles away? It's no wonder that I have so many people commenting on my videos saying, well, if the Earth is flat, why can't I see the Eiffel Tower from anywhere on Earth? And it's just like, man, dust, dew, fog, smog, mist, clouds, just perspective. We don't have Superman-like vision, you know what I'm saying? You can't see that far. On a clear day, I wonder how far you can actually see on a very clear day, but it still ends with your perspective. There's in Spain from the East Coast. That's ridiculous. Why can't I see Louisiana or New Orleans from the middle of the Mississippi River?
Just go to the middle of the Mississippi River and look south. Why can't you see the Louisiana? Why can't you see New Orleans? What's the problem there?
Are you kidding me? What kind of evidence is that? This makes me think that they're trying to lousily represent the flat or the Earth, the ball Earth, so people could start slowly transitioning over to the flat Earth. Seems like it. Pictures of Earth. Look at pictures of space. Look at pictures from space, he says.
If you'd like, look at pictures from space where you see the Earth as a sphere. Those pictures are not faked. And I'll tell you, just if nothing else, here's why you can tell they're not faked.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. But I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
It's like, what? We've already found out that all their pictures in space are composites or animations, CGI. And then he goes on to say the cost of paperwork is one of the issues or something, like just to produce the paperwork, why would the, you know.
Just to create the paperwork that NASA has created, for NASA in this one case, just the paperwork to send anything out in space, to send people into orbit or to send them to the moon. That amount of paperwork would make faking it prohibitively expensive. No one could afford to generate that much documentation.
The NASA budget is $18 billion this year, right? So I did the math. Let's take $1 billion, spend it on paper. I found out that you can buy 40 million boxes of paper that have 4,000 sheets in each box, just with 1 billion of the $18 billion that NASA has received this year alone. Okay, take another 1 billion out of that 18 billion, and you could buy 25 million ink cartridges. And that's if they were 40 bucks. We're saying that ink cartridges are 40 bucks, okay? Those are some good ones. And that's just rounding to some average printing stuff and paper, right? So you could buy 40 million boxes of paper with 4,000 sheets each, and you can buy 25 million ink cartridges to print on that paper, and you still got $16 billion left. Okay? All right. I mean, what the heck? They can definitely afford the paper and the ink to produce this BS paperwork that is somehow proof the Earth is round. That is so weird.
The ancient Greeks noticed that from time to time, the Earth casts a shadow on the moon. This is a lunar eclipse, where the moon gets in the shadow of the Earth. The sunlight is being blocked by the Earth, the moon's on the far side of the Earth. And that shadow is always curved, and the only shape that always produces a curve, no matter what the orientation. That is to say, whether you're standing in Greece at night, or if you're standing then 12 hours later in Buenos Aires at night. The curve, the shadow is always curved. So the ancient Greeks knew that the Earth was a ball. They didn't know to the degree of the size of it, to the degree of precision we know now.